This video is to talk about subscriptions and managing subscriptions. So first of all, a subscription is just a collection of communications that are similar. And so you can see here from the list that's available currently as this video is being taken, that we have subscriptions organized into really the different components of the ministry or things that occur on a scheduled basis. And so for the reason for having a subscription is that allows you to create multiple communications that are associated with something that's very similar. So if the quarterly newsletter is a subscription, all the quarterly newsletters would be created as communications under that one subscription. And the reason for this is it allows people to opt out of a particular type of subscription without opting out of all of the communications that might go out from the ministry. So for example, if someone didn't want to receive a quarterly newsletter anymore, but they still wanted to receive communications about Forsyth service days, they might unsubscribe simply to the quarterly newsletter, but keep receiving the others. So the subscriptions are just a way to organize communications that are of a similar nature. Your subscription list page here just kind of gives you a summary of all the subscriptions. Under the activity column, that will show you either the last thing that's happened and or anything that's scheduled. So you can see in this particular case, when the video was taken, there was a scheduled send that was coming up for 8/6 for the Dawson Mobile Pantry. So that'll just kind of give you an idea of how things are scheduled. And in the setup area will indicate how you've got this particular subscription set up. So we're going to go in and instead of adding a new one, if you need to add a new one, you can do that in the upper right-hand corner. We're just going to go in and take a look at one of these that already exists. So you just would click on the name of the subscription over to the left, and then that's going to take you over and bring up for you the subscription detail page where you can make changes and add communications and do other types of things. So on the details tab, this is just a list of just some general things about the subscription. You can always set or change the name. Notes and instructions are just either to identify what the subscription is or maybe even when it's supposed to go out. Recurring or one-time subscriptions, most everything that you do is going to be recurring just because we want to have the option of adding additional communications that apply to that section as we go. If for some reason you need to do a one-time where it has absolutely nothing to do with anything else, you could always create a new subscription, but generally something you're going to communicate is going to go under one of the subscriptions that already exists or something that's new, but it's still going to be recurring. So you can select for a subscription volunteer groups and or organization groups that you want to be associated with the subscription. So this is a list of all the volunteer groups. Then it'll show you how many people are in the particular category. And then for your organization groups, this is a list of all the organization groups. And again, it shows you the number that are associated with that particular group. So this allows you to say, I want, for example, in this case, I want these communications to go out to everyone who is associated with the Dawsonville volunteer group. And then what's nice about that is as people are added to the Dawsonville volunteer group, they're just automatically going to start receiving the communications that are associated with the subscription. So you don't have to generate a list of people to receive a particular communication whenever it gets sent out and upload that somewhere or identify that somewhere. The system is automatically going to determine who's in a particular volunteer organization group and is not unsubscribed, and it's going to use that to send out the communications. And so again, as new people are added to groups, they're automatically going to start to receive particular communications. The volunteer subscribers list and the organizational subscribers list, this is just going to show you activity that has taken place on this particular subscription. And in this case, since we're using groups, since we're using volunteer groups and organization groups, then this screen is really only going to show the people that have unsubscribed. So this will, you can go through here and take a look at all the people that have unsubscribed from this particular subscription. Same would be true for organization. It would list organizations here that have unsubscribed. The communication tab is just a list of all the communications and the next thing that's going to happen or the status basically of that communication. And then there's a separate video on how to manage communication. So we won't go into that right now. And then finally, the activity screen. The activity screen just gives you an idea of what people may have done that are associated with this particular subscription, and it will show you that just over a certain period of time. You can click show all, and if there are more than the 30 days or I guess 90 days worth of activity, then it will show you anything that happened before that. So you can see that it will tell you, for example, that on July 10th at 8:30 in the morning, this particular volunteer unsubscribed by clicking the safe unsubscribe link in the communication that they received. And so that will kind of give you an idea if you're looking to see or trying to help someone to troubleshoot what happened. You can come here and you can see this list. On the tools page, these tools here are really not things that are going to be applicable for the way that you all are doing communications. So if for some reason you feel like you need to do something on this page, then probably want to get with the development team first and talk through it and see what it is that you might need to be able to do. So that is just an overview of subscriptions and how to set up and manage subscriptions on the site.